Today's session is going to be on the dip before the shift. And so it's kind of a fancy way of saying, you know, the breakdown before the breakthrough. So this is going to be a super helpful session if you feel like you've been doing all the work to become a new version of yourself and to shift and to evolve and to heal and to grow and you're going through a period where you feel like a bit stuck or a bit like all of the stuff that's buried down in the subconscious mind is coming to the surface. All of the negative thoughts and the beliefs, they're all coming back up to the surface. Um, I want to start off just by sharing with you a pattern that I have observed after, hundreds, if not thousands, of coaching sessions, probably thousands actually. Um, if I think about it, I know I've directly worked with over 250 clients. Um, it's probably getting close to 300 now, but maybe 250, 300, something like that. And if I say, let's say I've averaged, I don't know, um, 12 one-on-one coaching sessions with each person, let's just say, or let's just say 10 to round it out. So if I've done 10 coaching sessions with about 200 people, let's just say, that's 2,000 coaching sessions, right? In the last 5 years. So over the last 5 years, and let's just say approximately 2,000 coaching sessions, I've noticed a pattern. I've noticed a very clear pattern that happens for a lot of people, right? I would say it happens for everyone, right? And here it is. I'm going to just lay it out. This is exactly what happens for most people. I would say at least 80%, if not more, this pattern happens. So people start working with me at over here, right? Point A. And what happens, they make a decision to change their life. They say, I want to change my life. I want to do something different. I want to become a new version of myself. I want to get more confident, or I want to, get more dialed in, or whatever it is. They say, I'm over here and I want to change my life. And this is the start. And what happens at the start, if we imagine it's a straight line, I'm going to just talk for most of this session. I do have some notes, but I'm going to kind of just talk and try to tell a story to get this point across. But we start here, right? And they have a vision of becoming here, over here, right? But over here is actually kind of like up here. They want to be like up here. But what happens is they come and they start here, and usually within the first few months, they go like this. They go up, 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 right? And it's like, cool, I'm in it and I'm engaged and I'm involved and I'm putting into practice the routine and I'm doing the things and I'm feeling really, really good. So we have this high, like it's like this elevation that happens at the start, right? That happens for everyone. Usually everyone goes through that. And sometimes it's in one month, sometimes it's 2 months, sometimes it's 3 months, but it's this high, right? And again, the pattern that I see is there's always a dip. There's usually always a dip, right? Um, I think about everyone that I've worked with, again, like 2,000 coaching sessions. It's like up, 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 and then dip, right? And so I wanted to talk about this because it's not something that just happens once. I believe it's something that will continue to happen over and over again. I was just talking to my friend. Every Wednesday, you guys might know, I go for a run in the morning. And I do it with a couple of mates, right? Mitch and PJ. Mitch and PJ have both just been overseas. They've been traveling. PJ was in Vietnam for a few weeks, so he didn't run. And Mitch he went all over the world. He went to Dubai. He went to England. He went to Scotland. Then he went to Iceland. When he was in England, he went to the Zach Bush talk. Who knows Zach Bush? I know Ray knows Zach Bush. If you don't know Zach Bush is a really interesting guy. Anyway, Mitch was literally just telling me just now. He said Zach Bush was talking about cancer when he was over there, cancer cells, and how cancer cells. Most people have this like they're scared of cancer. They try to get rid of it. They go to the chemo and they kind of try to rip it out or like forcefully. But Zach Bush basically was saying that the cancer cell, if we really look into it and we actually address it, it's not there because it's there to like kill the person. It's there to really help a person understand that there's an evolution that needs to happen within their self. And basically, I'm not explaining this as clearly as he does. If you go and listen to him, he'll explain it a lot more clear than I can. But basically, he was saying that the cancer cell, when we actually look at it properly, we can and we understand it, it's actually there to help us to grow and to evolve and to heal and to develop, right? It's there to help usher in a new reality, a new earth, a new humanity. Again, he articulates that a lot better than I do. He's a certified physician, very smart guy, very intelligent guy. But the point that stuck out to me when Mitch was telling this story is it aligns perfectly with what I'm going to share in today's class, which is when you go through this dip, so you go up and then you have a dip and you feel like you've been doing all the work, but for some reason the negative thoughts are still there. The negative beliefs are still there. The doubts are still there. The fears are still there. The worries are still there. They're all coming up. What if they're coming up not because there's something wrong with you or you're broken, but because they're there to be released? It's coming to the surface of your subconscious mind, so not so that you can like hate yourself, but so that you can actually shed that layer. You can dissolve it. You can shed it. You can release it. What if that's why that the dip is happening? Okay. So again, when we decide to change, which is everyone who comes to work with me has made a decision to change, right? That's why you do self-development. That's why you do personal development. That's why you get a coach, because you want to change. You want to become better, right? So everyone makes that decision to change. When you make that decision to change, you have to understand you're making a declaration to become a new person. You're saying, I want to become a new person. I want to change my life. Now, when you say that, when you make that declaration, you have to understand that you are also at the very same time saying to yourself, I'm ready to release this old person. I'm ready to let go of who I was. You cannot become someone new without letting go of someone old. It's not going to work because if you're over here and you know this is your the self that you've lived as for like 30, 40, 50 years, however long, and it's you've got all of these beliefs and all of these thoughts and all of these emotions, all of this identity, and not just that, like, you know, I'm not really into I can't explain the science stuff as well as someone like Zach Bush, but he would even go in far and say your whole biology, you know, the epigenetics, like your whole, your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your identity actually affects your whole biology, right? Your whole being. And so when you decide to change that, and you start to implement new beliefs, you start to bring in new thoughts, you start to bring in a new identity, you get clarity on that, which is what we do. And usually this is what I see in the first few months. It's like, cool, I'm becoming this new person. I'm super clear. This is what I'm doing, right? You start becoming that person, and then the dip, what if the dip is there because it's like, cool, now we're ready to release. So most people start to think when they're having this dip, it's like, oh, mental health problems, anxiety, depression, there's something wrong with me. I need to go to the doctors. I need the pills. I need the therapist. I need the psychologist. Like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me, ADD, all this kind of stuff, right? What if that is actually all of that stuff that's coming to the surface, all of the anxiety, all of the depression, all of the negative thoughts, all of the fears, all of the doubts, all of the worries that's coming up to the surface in that dip period is actually the old self coming up to the surface to be released. It's like that's the opportunity for you to release and let go of these old beliefs and these old thoughts and these old kind of ways of being. It's literally like the snake that's shedding its skin, right? It's like the skin that's on the surface of the snake is what needs to be let go. It's what gets let go. It's what gets shed. So when you go through this dip, instead of thinking, fuck, look, there's something wrong with me, I can never change, it's like, understand all of that stuff that's coming up to the surface. It's literally like the old skin that's coming to the surface that's getting ready to shed its layer. And so the problem that we have with this is like when we have those negative thoughts or those negative beliefs or those fears or those doubts or those worries coming to the surface, we try to push it back down. Who's had this? You go through a dip, right? And I've had this. I've actually lived this recently. This is a living transmission that I'm sharing with you because it's so potent and alive in me right now. Right? I've been having a dip for the last couple of months, and there's like this internal feeling. It's kind of I'm not even sure. It's not even really super conscious. It's kind of like there's this unconscious um, impulse or compulsion to suppress the fears. Like if I'm having fears or concerns or doubts or worries, I try to push them down and just keep pushing through. Who knows what I'm talking about here? 111 in the chat box. It's like when you have this stuff coming to the surface, you're like, oh, there's some fears there, or there's some concerns there, or there's some worries there, and you're doing this work to become a better person, and you think, I shouldn't be having these thoughts because I should be further ahead. I should have been changed by now. I shouldn't be having these thoughts anymore. And so you try to push them down. You try to push them down. Just keep doing the work. Just keep doing the work. Just keep doing the work, right? And you push everything down. And it actually starts to feel like you're in this forceful relationship with yourself where there's resistance, an internal resistance. Who knows what I'm talking about? Ray does. Simon, Amanda, welcome. You guys know what I'm talking about? I was talking to my wife yesterday morning, and we were discussing this because she said this exactly the same thing. My wife, we've recently had two kids, and my wife, Missy, she's very creative, very entrepreneurial. Before we met each other, she was doing a lot of her own work, right? She was really into coaching herself. She was really into spirituality, and we had a couple of kids, and she's been doing a full-time mum since then. But recently, our youngest is now 3 months old, and Missy's got this creative spark coming back, and she started to want to express her creativity again, right? Her entrepreneurship, her creativity. She just had this idea for this new business that she wants to start, right? And she's actually, she does TikTok and stuff like that. And she's doing all these influencer stuff, and she got brand deals, and she's wanting to grow that. She's wanting to grow this personal brand of hers. She wanted to grow a bit of a business again. And she said she's having all these fears come up. Oh, imposter syndrome. Am I good enough to be doing this? Who am I to be doing this? And we had this discussion. It's like she has at the same time decided, okay, I'm going to step back into entrepreneurship. I'm going to step back into this new business. I'm going to start doing this new thing. I'm going to start expressing myself on my personal brand in a new way. And at the same time, all of this fear, the doubt, the concerns coming up. So all of that, it comes up from the subconscious. And again, if you've been listening since the start of this, there's a version of you who you have been being for so long. And all of your current thoughts, beliefs, emotional self identity, your whole biology keeps you as that person. So you can't actually change or make the real shift into the new person unless you let go of the old self, the old beliefs, the old thoughts and emotions and concerns and doubts and fears and all the rest of it. You actually have to address them. So this again, if you push them down, they stay in your subconscious, right? So when you're going to change, again, we go to change, we go up, then we have this dip, right? Where all the stuff comes to the surface. And this happens for everyone, right? It happens for my wife, it happens for me, happens for like after 2,000 coaching sessions, I've seen it for everyone. The people who really succeed, they don't let that dip destroy them. They don't let that dip beat them. And again, 2,000 coaching sessions. There's been so many people I can't even count how many people who I have who have told me after 1 or 2 months they want to quit. Right? They're like, okay, I don't know, like, this is all too much. It's too hard. I'm still having these thoughts. I'm still having this feeling. And I say, just stick at it, stick at it. Like you guys know me with the coaching, right? Just stick at it. Be consistent. Keep going. Keep going. Don't quit. I have seen people make it past the dip and then totally transform after the dip, right? Some people, they can't get past that dip and they let the dip consume them, let the negative thoughts consume them, and they try to resist it and they try to fight it and they say, there's something wrong with me, it's not working, rah, 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 all this stuff, and they push it all down, and then nothing changes, right? I've seen that before as well. But the people who are able to integrate, they're able to keep going, they're able to find some acceptance because the way that you release it, and I'm gonna actually get into a framework that we can go through for you guys shortly, but the way that you actually release the stuff that's coming up is you don't try to fight it, you don't try to push it down, you don't try to suppress it. Because that's what it feels like. Missy told me yesterday. She said, I feel like all these fears, all these doubts, all these concerns are coming up, and I'm internally trying to push them back down. Right? And that's not how you overcome it, right? You don't push it back down because you literally push it back down into your subconscious. You're keeping it inside you. Imagine yourself as an energy vehicle, right? You are a body of energy, right? You've got your conscious mind, you can imagine that it's like up here, and you've got your subconscious, you can almost imagine it as your body, right? So when this stuff comes to the surface, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the anxiety, whatever it is, the fears comes to the surface, it's kind of coming up from the subconscious, coming into your conscious awareness, okay? And now when it's in your conscious awareness, you have a choice. You can then allow it to be there and see it and kind of let it unfold, let it be released, or and that happens through acceptance. You accept it, right? You understand yourself. You accept, okay, cool, this is a part of my experience. I'm allowing it to be like this. Or you resist and you push it back down. Get down, you fucking fuck. Right? Stay there. I don't want you. Go into the dark corner of my soul and just live there and don't ever come out. Right? No, that's not going to work. Right? You're never going to turn into a butterfly if you do that. The caterpillar to the butterfly. It's like the cocoon, right? Such a great analogy. Got this little caterpillar crawling around, right? And it says, I want to become a butterfly, right? And you want to fly, right? And you want to become this beautiful being. And so the caterpillar has to go into the cocoon. And in that cocoon, it goes through this transformation, right? It starts to transform from the caterpillar to the butterfly. But at some stage, the caterpillar actually needs to break out of the cocoon. It needs to release the cocoon. It needs to break through the cocoon to become the butterfly, right? If the caterpillar is not able to break out of that cocoon and it stays stuck in that cocoon, it's never going to become the butterfly. Okay. So when we're working on our own personal transformation, it's kind of like the same thing happens. The dip is kind of like the cocoon, right? It feels like you're kind of in a cocoon. It feels like, oh, I'm going through this dip, I'm going through this sticky bit, and it's feeling a bit hard, and it's feeling like I can't kind of break out of it. And it's really kind of starting to test your faith, right? Who knows what I'm talking about? 222. It's testing your faith, right? It's like you're starting to doubt, you're starting to have concerns, you're starting to have fears, you're starting to wonder, can I do this? Is this for me? Is this going to work? And it's testing your faith, right? And so at that time, yeah, do I even want this anymore? Yeah. Oh, maybe I should just, I don't know. I've shared a couple of times. I'm not sure if I've shared a couple of times on this call. Or actually, I think I not today, but this year. I was thinking at one stage this year of starting a toilet cleaning business, like a cleaning business. I was having these thoughts in my head going through this dip, right? Where I'm like, maybe I should just fucking stop doing this, and maybe I should just go and start an easy business, like a cleaning business, and just go clean people's houses and clean people's toilets and shit, right? I went and started talking to ChatGPT about it, and it was like, it's really great that you have that level of humility where you could just go and clean toilets, but you're not here to clean toilets, right? And I was like, yeah, fuck, I'm not here to clean toilets. But that, yeah, it's like what Ray said. Do I even want this anymore? You start thinking like that. Maybe I could just settle for like what I had before. It wasn't that bad, right? Maybe I'll just stay a caterpillar, right? Maybe I'll never, maybe fuck being a butterfly. I don't want to be a butterfly anymore. It's too hard to be a butterfly. Right? Fuck that. You want to be a butterfly, right? Definitely. 100%. But it's going to test your faith, right? So what I'm sharing here is that it's normal. I want everyone to know this. It's normal to go through the dip. Um, Let me just share an idea with you. Imagine if all of the mental health problems that we have in the world are not because there's something wrong with humanity and mental health, but it's because we have got a wrong story about our struggling and our suffering. We have a broken narrative about what it means to have some internal struggling and suffering in life. These days, if you have something that's wrong, or you feel like there's something wrong, you're having these negative thoughts, or you're having this anxiety, or you're having this depression. So you go to the doctors and they say, oh, there's something wrong with you. You should take these pills. And the pills just suppress the problem. The pills actually just suppress everything. They make your feeling less. They make your emotions less. They kind of turn your brain off a little bit. And then you just kind of, you're suppressing everything, right? What if the anxiety, the depression, the thoughts, the fears, the concerns, the doubts, they don't mean that something's wrong with you? What if they're actually just a natural part of the process of becoming someone new? What if that was the case? I really believe that it is. I think that that's exactly what's happening. When you go to change your life, and to become a more full expression of yourself, to go from the caterpillar to the butterfly, to grow up, right? That's what it is. We're growing up. People some have this weird idea that's like, okay, I've finished school now and I'm all grown up. I don't need to do any more growing. After I finish school, I'm all grown up. Or for some of us, we go to college and university as well. And then, okay, I've done that. Now I'm all grown up. Cool. I've got my job now. I'm all grown up, right? And you're like in your 20s, maybe in your 30s or something. And you start to think, I'm all grown up, right? But you're not. You're not actually grown up. You've just stopped growing. We do this weird thing where we just decide to stop growing, to stop learning. Like I'm already done, right? Like what it's not. I think Simon said something before on Amanda. Yeah, especially if old patterns resurfacing can resist because I've dealt with this, right? Yeah, you think to yourself, I've already dealt with this. I've already fixed this problem. I thought I've already done this, right? I'm already grown, right? Why is this still happening? I'm already grown. The growing never stops, right? The growing never stops. That's a part of nature. We are natural beings, right? We are organic living systems, right? And so the growing does not stop. It's that we're born and then we grow as children and we grow as teenagers and we become early adult life and then we become adults and then adults are not the end. Being an adult is not the end either, right? Because then you could go through your adulthood and then you start to mature, you keep growing and you become like maybe a grandparent or you get into your 50s, your 60s, you got a bit more wisdom and a bit more life wisdom. Then you go to your 60s, your 70s, and then your 80s, now you're starting to decay and you're starting to erode and disintegrate, which is fine as well, natural part of the process. And then you go through this death process, right? And so if you look at a human life like that, it's kind of what happens, right? But then we chunk it down into seasons of life, right? Like we have 4 seasons, right? Well, currently we're operating off 4 seasons. But if you look at different cultures in the world, they have more seasons than that. But anyway, we're operating off like autumn, winter, spring, summer. So there's 4 seasons, and every season there's a start of the season and there's an end of the season, right? There's like each round there's a birthing and there's a growing and there's a letting go and there's a dying in winter, right? And so we're going through this seasonal process every lap around the sun, right? So it doesn't just happen that we are born and then we are dead at the end, but it's like there's this continual process of seasonal change. And that's the dip before the shift, right? There's going to be a dip before the shift. That's a part of the natural process of life. It's a part of the seasonal process, right? And so if we can start to have that perspective where we start to, it's a remembering as well, right? You have to remember this because when you're in the depths of the dip, it'll feel like everything is fucked, right? It'll feel like this is fucked. I'm broken. There's something wrong with me. It feels like I'm in a cocoon. It feels like I'm dying. It can feel like that, right? That's why you go to anxiety and depression. You go to the doctors. What's wrong with me, right? What if nothing's wrong with you? You're just going through a part of the process, and instead of trying to suppress it or resist it, you actually need to allow it to come to the surface so that you can release it and so that you can let go of it. Okay.